to Tax File. I am your guide, Laure Bala Hassan, and today's lineup is packed with insights and conversations you won't want to miss. We'll start off with the latest tax updates, keeping you informed on stories shaping our tax landscape. After that, it's time for the Do You Know, where we shine the lights on interesting facts and surprising nuggets from the world of taxation. Then we move into Vox Pop as we take you to the streets to capture your thoughts and reactions on pressing tax issues. Your voices will lead us straight to the knowledge zone, where we unpack those perspectives and add experts' clarity. From there, it's professional insights, where seasoned experts share practical advice to help you navigate tax matters with confidence. And to wrap it up, we'll step into what's on the nets, responding to your comments, questions, and conversations online. Plenty to cover, so let's jump right in. And now, the news. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has once again honored excellence and dedication within its workforce as it held the 2024 Reward, Recognition and Awards and Retiree Send-Off Ceremony. Ejura Etu Okpanachi has the reports.
The ceremony brought together staff, retirees, management and stakeholders to celebrate outstanding contributions to tax administration in Nigeria. The executive chairman of FIRS, Dr. Zak Adedeji, who was represented by the coordinating director support service group, emphasized that building an effective tax administration begins with motivated people. The coordinating directors of the service delivered goodwill messages, pledging continued support for a people-driven culture. Some of the awardees also expressed their heartfelt gratitude for the recognition. Also present were former executive chairman of FIRS, Mr. Tunde Fowler, Alhaji Kabir Mashi, Dr. Sunday Ugungbeson, who commended the service for sustaining a tradition of honoring both current and past contributors. The Reward, Recognition, Award and Retiree Send-Off Ceremony has become a hallmark of FIRS' people-centric approach, celebrating not just numbers, but the people behind Nigeria's revenue system. With awards, tributes, and a renewed pledge to service, the event underscored FIRS's commitment to promoting excellence, integrity, and national development through its people.
In a strategic move to boost trade and drive economic growth, the Federal Inland Revenue Service will partner with the Nigerian Customs Service to advance a federal initiative aimed at simplifying trade procedures and enhancing transparency. The collaboration was disclosed during a high-level meeting in Abuja, where both agencies reviewed integration plans and agreed on actionable steps to ensure seamless implementation. Evelyn Shija has the reports.
The initiative, originally launched by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in April 2024, is set to become operational in the first quarter of 2026. At the meeting, Controller General of Customs Bashira Dewali Adeniyi emphasized the critical need to align all stakeholders for successful deployment of the platform, describing it as a key policy for fostering a trade-friendly environment and enhancing Nigeria's competitiveness. Dr. Zak Adedeji, Executive Chairman of FIRS, also voiced full support for the project. Director of the project, Tolafa Kolade, highlighted that the initiative has progressed to its critical development and integration stage following a year of assessments and requirement analysis. Meanwhile, a broader report echoed this commitment, noting that the NCS and FIRS have intensified collaborative efforts through the FIRS's framework to ensure the platform's operational readiness by the first quarter of 2026.
The chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Zak Adedeji, has called the armed forces critical to achieving the agency's substantial tax revenue targets. He made the remarks during a visit by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and his team to the FIRS headquarters. Saama Chido has the reports.
Adedeji revealed for the first time in a long while, FIRS has met its 2025 tax revenue target for the oil and gas sector. He attributed this success to the maintenance of peace in oil-producing regions like Niger Delta, which enable higher production and profitability for companies. He framed this development as part of President Tinubu's broader policy of taxing prosperity, not poverty, noting that prosperity can only thrive in a peaceful environment. Adedeji further highlighted the president's commitment to supporting security operatives with proper welfare, including approval for new housing estates, and pledged FIRS continued collaboration. Responding, General Musa lauded FIRS for its enhanced revenue generation. He praised the agency's bold initiatives under Adedeji, which have strengthened security and supported Nigerians' hosting of the inaugural African Chiefs of Defense Staff Conference.
Let's join Mariam on the Vox Pop segment.
And welcome to the segment. My name is Mariam Adura. Today we're in Ikeja, Lagos, to find out what taxpayers know about e-invoicing. You want to find out more? Come along with me.
What I understand by e-invoicing is that it's the electronic transmission of invoices between those that are selling and buying between each other in a machine-readable format, such as UBL, which is called Universal Basic Language, or the JSON format, so that these invoices can be transmitted properly between customers.
Invoicing is quite very versatile, but invoicing to me is just a way of transmitting or sending or exchanging invoices in a digital format. Of course, these invoices need to be in a standardized format, conforming to the UBL standard. Yes.
E-invoicing is basically an electronic document being shared among key actors in an ecosystem. So we have a buyer, we have a supplier, then we have a technology platform that connects all these key actors together, including the regulators like FIRS or any other government agency that are meant to share part of the information on those invoices. So it works basically on what we call a platform economy. So e-invoice is a document in a machine-readable, in a structured format that is shared among those key actors: a buyer, a supplier, a mediator, and a regulatory agency.
What do you understand by e-invoicing?
For me, e-invoicing is simplicity. It brings simplicity to every business. How you do business, how you file your tax, how you do your day-to-day transactions. So it brings in simplicity into every business, basically.
Did you know FIRS has recently introduced e-invoicing, a digital process that replaces paper invoices, enabling structured exchange and processing of invoices, credits, and debit notes between buyers and sellers through integrated e-invoicing solutions. For more information, please visit www.firs.gov.ng.
Ashu Abe takes us on the Knowledge Zone.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Zone, where we give more insights to the conversations earlier had on the streets. I am your host, Ashu Abe. In this episode, we'll be talking and taking a long look into invoicing. What is e-invoice? E-invoice or electronic invoice is a digital version of a traditional invoice that is issued, transmitted, and received in a structured data format, enabling automated and electronic processing, unlike a scanned or PDF invoice. An e-invoice is designed to be machine readable, allowing the data to be automatically processed by the recipient's accounting or accounts payable system without the need for a manual input. What are the benefits of the e-invoice? Enhanced efficiency, saves time and resources by automating your invoice process, reducing manual errors, and speeding up transaction times. Improved compliance. Meet regulatory requirements effortlessly without built-in compliance features and real-time data validation. Increased transparency. Maintain clear and transparent records of all invoicing activities, facilitating easy audits and compliance checks. Better decision-making. Utilize advanced analytics and reporting to gain valuable insights into your invoicing data, helping you make strategic business decisions. User empowerment. Equip your team with the tools and training that they need to effectively manage and utilize the e-invoicing system. MSME support. Phased implementation helps micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises transition to e-invoice smoothly.
And now to our professional insight segment.
So my primary role as the project manager is simply to ensure delivery of the solution from initiation and to completion, right? And that entails so many activities. You have to work with the consultant, you have to work with all service providers, you have to work with all our internal stakeholders within the service. You know, we have different departments. I have to ensure that I interact with all the stakeholders, make them understand the overall goal of this project, and to also take their requirements to implement on the system. The invoicing has gone live since 1st of August, and then the service now extended the timeline to 1st of November. So our primary objective is to ensure that taxpayers comply and adopt this system. But as we also go along this, we also understand that this is something new, and it will take time for taxpayers to get used to it, to even understand what the system is all about before we can achieve that total compliance. So our initial plan now is to start with large taxpayers. You know, in FRS, we have different categories of taxpayers: the large taxpayers, the medium taxpayers, and the emerging taxpayers. The large taxpayers are those with a turnover threshold of 5 billion and above. There are over 5,000 or so currently in the service. So since go live, we have close to 1,000 or over 1,000 of them have onboarded, and we are working to ensure that more of this on board before the November deadline. So our strategy is to work with them, encourage them to adopt. Where they have issues, we help them to address, and together with the help of the service providers, we hope to make compliance as seamless as possible. Currently, we are targeting large taxpayers, and in Lagos alone, we have more than 7 to 8 large taxpayers. You know, we have the large taxpayer telecoms, we have the large taxpayer financials, we have the large taxpayers oil and gas, upstream, downstream, and oil services. We have the manufacturing, and we have the aviation and logistics. In Lagos alone, the other locations that have presence of large taxpayers is only Kano, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. And in these places, I think they have just like 3 or 4. So Lagos alone, we have over 7 large taxpayer offices, which accounts for more than 70% of our large taxpayers, right? So, and the strategy is, okay, let's start with Lagos, where they have majority of the large taxpayers, and then gradually move to other locations, right? So there's also a plan to organize this stakeholder engagement similar to what we have done in Lagos in other locations like Port Harcourt, Abuja, and Kano. It's in the pipeline, and we're planning to do that very soon. FRS operates what we call self-assessment. Go and do your business and come and report to FRS and say, this is what I've done as a business, and this is my profit, and this is how much tax I should pay. And then government reviews what you have declared later, and then request for additional documents to validate and confirm whether you have filed the right taxes or not. If not, they go after you through audits or investigation. So now with the e-invoicing, it's going to enable taxpayers, as they are doing their business operations, they are transmitting every transaction to FIRS. So FIRS now becomes part of the transaction, meaning the business is now transparent to the government. Government now knows what you are doing. So at the end of the day, even before you file, you declare your tax returns, government has an idea about how much taxes you pay. So because you know government now has an eye on what you're doing, so the tendency to under-declare or to avoid tax or to evade tax is minimized. So taxpayers, the system ensures that the taxpayers are empowered to do the right thing, because you know government is watching you. So the tendency to lie about your taxes is no longer there. And then on the other side also, it makes it easier for our tax officers to have the required data to do whatever analysis they want to do. So the era of saying, I have to go to this business office to confirm their transaction is no longer there. We know the more human intervention we have in the process, the more the tendency of connivance, right? So invoicing will eliminate or reduce the possibility of this connivance happening to the barest minimum, and it protects everyone. It protects both the taxpayer and the tax authority, because the tendency to do this connivance has been minimized. And then secondly, with the invoicing, it's going to help the businesses reduce costs of printing paper invoices to send to their business partners or to send to FIRS to validate what they are doing. So it's going to replace the traditional method of invoice exchange, meaning that these invoices will now come electronically. Everybody will have access to it from the comfort of their homes or offices, and then of course it will increase efficiency. And then it's also going to help the taxpayer to authenticate his invoice, meaning that, remember now, it's very easy to fake invoices because there is no any number that you can use to confirm that this invoice is genuine. With the e-invoicing now, we're introducing what we call the IRN number, which is a unique identifier that comes with every invoice. So any invoice that doesn't carry IR number means that cannot be validated. Currently, some countries don't honor invoices from Nigeria because they don't have any way to validate. So meaning that with this, it's going to help the businesses to validate their invoices, and then it will be easier for them to do business with their counterparts in any part of the world. And then the most important advantage of this invoicing to taxpayers, especially those in the informal sector, is going to help them formalize their businesses. Most of the informal guys that we currently have today, we are calling them informal, is because they don't have any way to keep record. We don't know what they are doing, and they continue to remain in informal. If you go to Wuse Market, you see shops, they are doing millions of transactions, but they don't have any way to keep record. And because of that, there is no opportunity for them to grow. Formalization allows businesses to grow. You know, the government said, we don't want to tax poverty, we want to tax prosperity. How do you tax prosperity if the businesses are not allowed, given opportunity to grow and begin to make profit? And so formalization, we're encouraging them, supporting them, give them the opportunity to grow so that they do well and government begins to collect the right taxes, and then the burden on the larger ones will continue to reduce. The e-invoicing perfectly aligns with the digital transformation of the federal government, and even in FIRS, we have a digital transformation roadmap, and which ensures that we are able to digitize all our processes. You know, the entire and end-to-end. The desire is for us to have an end-to-end digital process with minimal human intervention, with minimal paper, to achieve like a paperless environment, you know, that businesses can be done remotely, seamlessly. FRS usually will always request for evidence of transactions by way of invoices, by way of bank statements, by way of anything you can think of that will show that something has happened between one business or the other. Now we're saying invoicing is replacing all these things. Now, so you imagine we're looking at a situation in the long term that FRS will no longer request any document from the taxpayer. The Tax Pro Max has been able to allow us to help taxpayers now file their taxes electronically, right? Meaning that it has almost eliminated any possible interaction. Any taxpayer that comes to the tax office now is usually based on reconciliation, audit, investigation. But if you want to file, you want to pay, you want to generate TCC, you can do that without coming to the office. It doesn't require you to fill any documents. You just go online, apply, download it. You may not even have to print it because the TCC also comes with a unique number and QR code you can verify. Yeah, our greatest success so far is our ability to have gone live with at least 2 to 3 taxpayers, MTN, Huawei, and ISH Towers. We're able to achieve this because these taxpayers volunteered to participate during the pilot period. And it was a huge success because without going live with them, we wouldn't have been able to announce the full deployment to all taxpayers. So we needed to have tested with 1 or 2 taxpayers to see how the solution works so that it also gives confidence, right, to taxpayers. So that's our greatest success. Our number 2 success is the support we have gotten from management. To be honest, the IT side is just one aspect of the solution, right? The buy-in and support of management to drive this is another critical success. Then, of course, challenges, there will always be challenges, right? Yes, at the beginning, some form of resistance from the taxpayers. Why is FIRS coming up with this, at this time that the country is, some reservations. But because of that support and continuous engagement, that has reduced drastically. Some taxpayers may have changed email. Their staff that were controlling those accounts are no longer there. So we've had those challenges of taxpayers said, oh, you have onboarded, but we've not received any email. And then we ask them, oh, go and check the email you have on your tax promax. And then they come back and tell us, no, that person no longer work with me, or the email is no longer valid. And so we now have to do, ask them to update it before. So these are just a few challenges that we're having, but we will continue to engage and improve the system. Because of that, we're also coming up with alternatives where they can even see the email first before it's sent so that they can confirm and that. But overall, the future looks very, very bright. A lot of taxpayers have, even those that have not, will not be able to meet up the November deadline, they are already writing FIRS to request for a little extra, which shows willingness to do it.
Over to Swateku for what's on the net.
Hello and welcome to What's on the Net. My name is Joyce Swateku. At Okoronkwo, Jones 1 is asking, please kindly upload withholding tax credit notes from GIF MIS platform. You people are frustrating taxpayers. The affected taxpayer can write to the Director Revenue Accounting Department with attachment of payments deducted by the MDA through GIF MIS for the withholding tax to be uploaded. At Ojojo 26 is asking, how do we file tax return for companies that's yet to operate for many years after registration with CAC? In such cases, the company's bank statements are typically used as a guide for preparing accounts, which should be done by a qualified professional. These accounts will then form the basis for filing returns with the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. Over to you, Laurie.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Tax File. I hope you found today's discussion enlightening and that it helps you make better sense of the tax world around you. But remember, the conversation doesn't stop here. Join us on social media handles to share your thoughts. Until next time, I am Laurie Bala Hassan. Stay informed and keep it locked on Tax File. FIRS, simplifying tax, maximizing revenue.